Hi everyone, and welcome to a new book review and flip through. This is Dream Voyage. It is out on the 27th of February, so not long to wait now. And I really don't want to pronounce the person's name who has illustrated this because I know that I will butcher it. So I'm not even going to attempt it, but she's had previous colouring books, including Circle of Life, Nature Mandalas and Enchanted Earth. So this name will already probably be known to you. She's had previous works and they were very well received, particularly Circle of Life. I think that did really well. She's based in northern Greece, and let's see what this actual book is about then. So it says, you're taken on a dream voyage in this new book. Venture into unknown worlds and discover new realms as you colour fantasy creatures and magical scenes. Prepare to be transported to the land of dreams where whales gracefully glide through the night sky and a mythical dragon emerges out of an egg planet into its own mystical universe. There are 46 fantastical illustrations with a mixture of full-page designs and self-contained pieces. So really excited to have a look in this. I don't own any of this illustrator's previous work. So even though I've known of the Circle of Life book and I've known of this illustrator, it's not an illustrator that I've ever owned the work of before. So I'm curious to look inside. I think I was always a little bit daunted, I think, by the amount of detail, but I guess we've just reviewed Kirby's new book, Dark Fairy Tales, and that is detail to the maximum, so I'm excited to see what's inside this one. Again, I'm looking at this for the first time with you all, so you're getting my unfiltered opinion and waffly thoughts. So this is the book. It's about the same size as Kirby's book, actually. Let me just get... Oh, everything's going to fall. Let me get Kirby's book. Yeah, it's exactly the same size. So it's the same publisher as well. So it'll be the same paper, I should think. And then we've got this illustration on the back. It's a nice soft touch matte cover. And there are the available titles released previously. Let's get into the actual book. So first title page is this one, the one that's on the cover. So you can colour that. You can try and replicate this colouring or you can do your own. And then, okay, wow, let's get this in shot properly. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so this looks like a map of sorts. It's very, very difficult to try and distinguish things as soon as you look at the page. There's lots of hidden things. It's very Kirby-like in that way. We've got a mountain range here is the first thing that I'm seeing. A castle, an hourglass, a dragon, a mermaid. We've got a ship here with a monster in the water, another ship. We've got a centaur here hiding in between the forest. What else? We've got a flying fish. We have got a unicorn or some kind of enchanted horse. There's no horn on that one. Another castle tower. Look at the sky. It's all these shooting stars and asteroids and planets. And then we've, of course, got the girl in the boat releasing this Pandora's box of incredible fantasy elements. So wow, this would be a very interesting page to see coloured. I think what I've decided with more detailed work is the more limited you keep your colour palette, the better. Because if you go in there with, I mean, do what you want, obviously, but if you go in there with every single colour under the sun and make everything a different colour, it's just going to add to the chaos of the illustration. And I think we need to sort of tame the illustration a little bit by limiting the colours used, and I think that really keeps it cohesive and tied together. That's just my tuppence worth anyway. Of course you can colour it however you like and it'll turn out beautifully. So now we've got all the publisher's information on this side and a little bit about the book here. Again, very reminiscent to the format of Kirby's book. Again, it's the same publisher. So we've got a nice frame on this. Again, lots of dragons and scales to colour. And we've read about that on the back, so I don't need to read that again. Okay, unlike Kirby's book, yep, this is a single-sided book, which is fantastic because that means we can just go to town with any kind of media and we don't have to worry about anything. So I'm just going to square you up with this so that you can see all of the illustration in all its glory. And again, just detail abound. We've got creatures that are the defying explanation, really. I don't know what you would call this creature. It's got wings, it's got a tail, it looks like a lizard, but it's got legs. And I mean, lizards do have legs, but you know what I'm saying. It kind of looks like a tiger as well. We've got little fairies here in the water with the flying fish. And then we've got some stunning kind of architecture poking through. And this looks like the clouds. So we are really, really high up in the atmosphere. This is a winged lion with a very, very long tail that has peacock feathers on the end. So it's like that real amalgamation of animals and characters. So I'm just looking. These kind of look like those things in caves that you get that grow up. Stalagmites, tights, whichever one it is. But yeah, look at all the detail on the wings. It's amazing. So this is a good one. This is inside of a ring. So it's like a diamond ring. Here's the gemstone on the top. And we're looking inside the ring and there's a whole world inside. We've got a lighthouse, a forest, someone travelling down the lake on a leaf boat. We've got a waterfall coming out of the ring as well, where we've got a stalk or a few stalks. And just loads of beautiful flower ornate details on the edge of the ring. This is lovely. This is a really nice one. I can imagine a lot of people wanting to do this one because it's its own contained world. It's not an entire spread. So here we've got a piano with all of the keys sort of floating through the air, and then in between that and growing up from the piano, we've got another world again that's been created. It's kind of like worlds within worlds. It's that kind of thing where you've got an object and then a world within it. So this is all castles and houses. Oh, and the piano is actually stood on what look like birds' claw things. What do you call them? Talons. There you go. And we've got a deer that's having a drink in the lake. Little girl dipping her feet. Again, just so much that you don't really see on the first glance, and then you start to look deeper and there's all sorts of little hidden gems. This one will be really nice too. I think a lot of people will gravitate to this because you've got the northern lights, and because the shading has kind of been done for you, it'll be really easy for you to create that northern light effect, you know, with your darks going up to your very light greens and white. That would be stunning. We've got a winged polar bear, some penguins, another castle, and then just this whole big set of wings with like a keyhole at the bottom. It's almost like looking through a keyhole, but the keyhole's there. You know what I mean? So this kind of reminds me of Worlds of Wonder, Johanna Basford. It's got those floating islands. Sorry if you can hear a saw outside, there's work being done. Yeah, so floating islands, waterfalls, lots of waterfalls and that kind of thing. Lots of different sort of architecture and castles and stuff like that. I like this boat just coming out of this nook at the bottom. So this kind of looks like a stalk, but not. We've got what look like letters making up the wings here, and also the tail as well. So I'm just looking around the illustration. We've got lots of letters and envelopes flying around. We've got scales here with the sun and the moon. That's really nice. And obviously a lake beneath. I wonder what the inspiration was for this one. I love how the wings are made up. It's so unique, you know. Again, it's like with Kirby books. I know I keep saying this, but I'd find it very similar. Just the imagination, the sheer level of ideas. You know, I would probably, if someone asked me to illustrate a colouring book straight out of my own head, it would be the most basic thing, because I just don't have this kind of imagination and a way to execute it. So we've got mermaids here, jellyfish, dolphins. This is in a book as well, so you see that's the object and here's the world within the object. This looks like a phoenix with a horn. Yeah, so you're going to get a lot of animals that are kind of made up of several different animals in this book. So this kind of looks like a swordfish, but it kind of looks like the sword of it is a unicorn horn. We've got flying dolphins here. This sort of looks quite like a lighthouse in the centre, but I feel like it's more mystical than that. It's some kind of beacon for some kind of mystical activity. That's what I'm getting anyway. Again, lots of waves and water, and it's like almost a whirlpool all the way around. It's incredible. And then this one is a zebra, because we've got the stripes We've also got dragon scales and things going on here as well. This kind of looks like tiger print or cheetah print on the legs. Huge tail again with the print. So yeah, dragon, zebra, cheetah, something along those lines. And then we've got the reflection in the water as well. So that'll be a really nice sort of above ground, underwater contrast of an illustration. There's also 2 moons in the sky and lots of little faces carved into the trees. So yeah, it's really, really good. I'm still daunted. I'm still daunted by Kirby's book, to be honest. It's just the level of detail just makes me go, whoa. But I'm trying to get myself into the frame of mind that I don't have to rush to finish a page. You know, I'm one of these people that constantly wants to get one done, move on to the next, get one done, move on to the next. I'm excited for the next one, but halfway through I'm bored and I want to get to the next. You know, that's kind of how I am. And obviously detailed illustrations like this and all this intricacy do not flow with that way of thinking. So I'm trying to teach myself to be more in the moment with the page and not look at how much else needs to be done. Just carry on chipping away at little bits and eventually you'll have like an incredible, intricately detailed masterpiece, hopefully. This looks like, well, it looks like a kind of female genie. We've got, is this like a capybara with big bat ears and bells on the end? I don't know. He's blowing a horn, and out of this horn, sorry about the saw again, out of this horn blows the genie. So it's kind of like Aladdin's lamp, but her own spin on it. Again, kind of peacock feather details to the background. We've got a hair. We've got some musical instruments. Yeah, it's giving like this whole design here. It's giving that kind of like Arabian Nights feel. So purples, golds, that'd be really nice. Okay, now we have, this is an archway. It's reminiscent straight away to me of Lord of the Rings. I don't know, I'm just getting that vibe. So we've got a lady walking through the path here with big thick candles in the tree stumps. Again, flying whales, we did hear about that in the introduction. And I like this bridge. It's just so nice. You know, I don't know where people get these ideas from. And I'm going to say that a lot, and I do say it a lot, but it's because I'm just in awe, really. So we've got 3 owls. This is somewhat of a more simpler piece, even though it's still detailed. You've got your 3 big subjects, and that's that. He's holding a lantern. In fact, they all are holding a lantern. And there's just branches between them and little flowers and things. So this is a somewhat easier illustration to tackle if you're wanting to start one. But if you just look at the detail of these, I bet they have names, these kind of bushy bits around their eyes. But you can see there's lots of different detail. This one has like ram horns curled up. This one's got jewellery pieces. And again with the jewellery here and lots of little curls and twists. Okay, so this is a coin, I think, because I'm looking around. There's lots of other coins and sort of jewellery, expensive looking things. Again, with kind of the stalk. That seems to be a theme throughout this book, is the stalk. Now we do have what looks like a ram, a goat, but it has a fish tail. So is this like a Capricorn? Because that's a sea goat, right? On this coin. Again, really, really nice illustration. One of the simpler ones, I suppose, if we're thinking about it. Now then, we've got a 3-headed dog of some sort here. I'm not even going to try and interpret the different bits and bobs of the animal because they're all a mash up. But this is interesting because it's almost like the dog has ripped open the wall with his claws. You can see the bare brick and then beyond the fantasy land. And I really, really like these little framed vignettes as well that go all the way around the edge. They're stunning. You could do one of these a day and that'll be done. And then, you know, in a couple of weeks, well, not even a couple of weeks really, you'd be ready to tackle, like, say, the wolves, and that would be that. And then in another week, you can do the brick and this and that. You can sort of break these illustrations down if you need to, because they are big work. They take a lot of commitment, I suppose. What is here? This is a stag with, again, like a leopard's cheetah's tail, sat on a throne. We've got a couple of unicorns there adorning the top of the throne. Lots of flowers, lots of fleur-de-lis. What's that kind of thing that I'm trying to think of? I can't remember. Gilded metalwork, you know. Oh, this is the one from, is it? Yeah, this is the one from the front in a larger format. Let me just check that. Yeah, it is. So you've got all of these little tunnels and the waterfalls kind of flowing out from them. And then, of course, this is a big moon, so it's a land within the moon. You've got the sky, and then you've got all the flora and fauna, the castle, and then the ship here. This looks like a magic pot of some sort. We've got logs here that it's sat on, ready to set fire, ready to cook or conjure whatever it is that is in the pot. Again, lots of different hybrid animals creeping around there. So this is kind of a centaur female, and look, these are her antlers, and it's sort of grown and twisted and just become so embellished with all these different things. You've got fire, water. Is there going to be earth and air on this page? I could be missing it. But we've got fire and water, so if the elements are maybe showing up somewhere else, I don't know. I've probably completely missed them, and you'll tell me in the comments. Oh, this is nice. Again, lots of detail, but I like this kind of round circular hobbit hole entrance doorway and all of the intricate workings of the door as well. Couple of dragon snake things. They are snakes with dragons' heads. How freaky would that be if you came across one of them? And again, we've got the lake here, a boat with a face in the sail, and then a land on top as well. Here is a cage, again with some storks or stork-like creatures. Inside the cage is a world that seems to have been locked away. Again, floating island, very reminiscent of Worlds of Wonder. I don't think this is too intricate of a page to colour. I think this is another one of those fairly entry-level pages. I don't want to say entry-level because that makes me think of, you know, the cute and cozy books at the minute that are out. They really are very entry-level, but I think it's all relative to this book. This is relatively not as detailed as a page as the others. So now we've got a flying, whatever this is, Loch Ness monster, dragon of some sort. Look at this, a turtle with like a snail shell on its back rather than its own turtle shell. That's really cool. Lots of underwater plants and things on this one, coral and things like that. This one is slightly finer line work, and it looks like a magic mirror. Someone's holding up this mirror. Again, just opulent design. And then we're seeing this world inside the mirror with a flying dragon head snake this time. Okay, we're getting a little bit dark and creepy here. We've got skulls and carcasses of lots of different creatures. You can see all of this is literally the bones that are left. And then someone walking into, again, very Lord of the Rings. I'm getting the Elvish word for friend. I'm getting that scene. You know, the Mines of Moria, that's what this is reminding me of. So it is incredibly fantasy, this book, as you can tell. You don't need me to tell you that. But yeah, really like that one as well. Just adding to that dark twist to the pages that you might not have liked in the Kirby book, but you can handle a little bit of. Okay, so again, this is quite freaky too. We've got an eye in the clouds. Again, Sauron, the ever-watching eye. Yeah, I can't see how inspiration hasn't been taken from Lord of the Rings. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm getting a massive vibe of that in this book. So here she is. She walked through the entrance path, and now she's walking through the twisting staircases and things, and she's being watched. Really love the waterfalls coming out of the eye as well. Very interested to see what colours people use for this. This is somewhat darker, this page, as in the line art. It's quite packed together and tight. So smaller spaces on this one for the most part. We've got the castle here rising up, and then the huge dragon creature with a gigantic swirling tail that kind of rules up here. I think this is underwater as well. We've got fish, unless the fish are flying, who knows? It's up to you. This kind of is giving, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. It's giving snow globe in a certain way. We've got this base here, it's almost circular. A couple of faces outlined in the flowers here. Kind of, again, just weird creatures. amalgamations of different ones, and then you've got this sort of Grecian structure at the top with the towers that are on fire, aflame. So we've got another dragon, plenty of dragons in this book. This one is almost eating its own tail. It sort of reminds me of, well, it doesn't really. I was thinking of those Chinese finger traps, but then it doesn't eat its own tail, so it doesn't make any sense. Ignore me. We've got bamboo shoots, so yeah, Chinese sort of looking architecture. This is definitely a Chinese inspired page. One that I would love to see done. Again, relatively simple to the rest of the illustrations in this book, so this might be a good one to start with. We've got more of a full page scene here. Again, I'm getting the Arabian feel. Princess Jasmine on the back of not a magic carpet, but a flying whale. And all the bookshelves and things. Can you imagine this being your bedroom, like looking out onto all this going on outside and the planets and everything? And you've got your telescope, you've got all your books, your lotions, your potions, your astronomy stuff. And then look at this ceiling. I mean, is this even a ceiling, or is it just open to the elements? I don't know. I'm getting far too invested in this, in this world. So dragon again, hatching out of the egg. Lots of space going on around it. Lots of flame, fire, burnt oranges, reds, that kind of colour I can see being utilised on this page. I would say if you're not a massive fan of dragons, you will have to avoid quite a few pages in this book. So yeah, it just depends. We've got the different phases of the moon here, and then another world. Lots of water at the bottom. This looks like a winged camel, so that's interesting. And again, just with the architecture and the design of the buildings, it's that kind of Aladdin sort of feel, I think. Okay, so this is a peacock's head and feathers with somewhat of a horse's body, and then obviously all the big peacock feathers on the tail as well. We've also got volcanoes erupting in the background, so that's another one I'd be really interested to see. There's plenty of cactus and succulents on this, so I'm getting a desert vibe. I'm getting very arid, you know, no water, no blues, nothing like that. Very arid, very sandy and dry. Okay, I need to look at this one properly. Okay, so we've got the stand here, and then out of the stand you can see there is a hand like this holding what looks to be a crystal ball. So again, just giving it that little sort of dark twist. I like that. And inside the crystal ball you can see another land, another place to discover. Then we have a swan with peacock feathers and cheetah print wings, I think. Now this is a snail's shell. How is this working? Is this part of the wing? I think it must be. So yes, another one with water. You could probably do this as a counterpart to the desert one. So this one will be full of blues and greens and, you know, the lovely earthy colours, whereas the other one is a little bit more given desert. So this is really nice. Again, there's lots of detail on this one. You've got all sorts to look at here. Okay, this is a clock within a tree, and lots of different buildings as well on the way up the tree, and again with different creatures to look at as well. This is a jug, and there is a kind of a world within the jug. You've got what look like narwhals, seals, again hybrids, a clamshell with a pearl, different fish. We've got a jellyfish over here. I like the hourglass that's embedded into this part of the jar, the neck of the jar, and it's pouring out here, as you can see. But the jellyfish, I guess they must be flying, because this looks like the sky to me. I guess they're flying, maybe dipping in and out of the water. Okay, so again, with that kind of Egyptian sort of dry pyramids, sand, all that kind of thing on this page. We've got a couple of weird dragon snakes again, lots and lots of florals. This is a parrot of some type with a cheetah print on his bill and peacock feathers on his bum. And this is a reflection of the pyramid, so that will be interesting again to see how people tackle reflections. This is a bear with a goat or ram horn on his head, or a pair of them anyway. We've got some flying fish that look like they've got gemstones embedded into them. We've got waterfall here, mountains, forest, that sort of scenery. So yeah, again, I'm getting deep forest greens, very earthy toned colours, but a lot more lush and vibrant than, say, the desert pages were. I think I'm talking too much and that's why my throat's going. Here we've got a fountain. So this is lovely. It looks like it's made up of flower petals, each tier of the fountain. We've got flying caterpillars, butterfly caterpillars. Butterflies are caterpillars anyway. Dragonflies, lily pads, very lush. This is really nice. Coming towards the end now. This is dragon face, spotty horse body, candle wax tail. And look, the antlers are all holding these candles. We're in the middle of the forest. There's flying squirrels with butterfly wings here, flying bugs, all sorts going off. There's eyes in the centre of the flowers. Just amazing. Where do these ideas come from? Aladdin's lamp sort of pouring the lake out here between the mountains. It's carved its own path. And we've got flying dragons, fairies, little fairy house doors as well. That's really cute, going up all of the tree branches. And then this is a fox, a flying fox with peacock feather tail. And I think this is like a bird scale or dragon scale. Then we've got some faces within the flowers. This is kind of reminded me, what's that film where there's faces singing in the flowers? You'll tell me. And then there's this one, which is two of those snaky, dragony, horsey creatures just enveloping this underwater sea world here with lots of coral. And is this the last one? I think it is. Is it? No. There's one more after this. This is lion. I'm trying to figure this out. The lion's tail has a dragon's head on the end of it. That's crazy. And they're sort of looking after and protecting all of these eggs. He's also got giant wings, which I didn't see at first. It's a bit silly. And you can see she's kind of come to the end of her voyage, or coming to the end. I think this character appears on a few pages, but not all of them. So it is called Dream Voyage. There's another one here. So I don't know whether I'm supposed to have followed a story throughout this or what, but... And then finally there's this one. No, it's not the one on the back. Lots of black on this. You can see the girl here. She's doing her voyage again. She's come to the end of it. She's found this huge mass of land with all of the fountains, the waterfalls, doorways, and just, can you imagine, it will take years to explore and discover everything that this world has to offer. And you've got the giant sort of phoenix with the flamed feathers on top as well. So there's been a lot to look at in this book. Oh, there is a little one on the back here of a little treasure chest. What looks like a weasel, otter, maybe, peacock again, and a squirrel. So yeah, there's been a lot to take in and digest with this book. So I'm interested to know what you all think. I know that this is a very popular colouring book illustrator. Again, I don't have any of her previous books or his previous. I don't even know whether this is how I should be addressing this person. So I'll just say they. I don't know whether they, what was my original point? I can't remember. They've had a lot of books. They're very popular in the colouring community, but what else? What was the point that I was making? I can't remember. Anyway, I hope that you've loved the book. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your comments as always. This book, as I said, will be out on the 27th of February. You can get your pre-orders in now. Let me just... Oh, her. So it is a girl. Okay. Glad to clear that up. Yeah, pre-order links are in the description. This has been chaotic. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you again very soon on Colour with Claire.